You guys sign in there.
Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm really excited to talk about the absolute insane performance I'm getting out of my 257 Weatherby Magnum. So in today's video, we are going to take a deep dive into this Barnes 101 grain LRX. There it is. We're going to see what kind of performance we get with it going as fast as I have it going, and see, is it really the flattest cartridge in the world? I'm also going to update you on doing the impossible. In a video a couple weeks ago, I was shooting some 135 grain burger hybrid target in this 1 in 10 twist 257 Weatherby. We will also give an update on that. What's always plagued the 25 calibers, at least the more traditional old 25 calibers, is the rifle twists. So the 257 Roberts, the 25-06 Remington, and the 257 Weatherby, they all come with a 1 in 10 twist. And those 1 in 10 twists traditionally kind of limit you from like an 85 grain bullet up to 120 grain. So with a 1 in 10 twist, you really probably can't shoot the higher 135 grain bullets. But Barnes gives you a pretty sleek bullet that's also extremely light. This is the 101 grain Barnes LRX. And for how light this bullet is, it actually has a pretty darn good BC. So the BC on this is a .400, that is a G1 BC. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, that sucks. When you're used to like 6.5 millimeters that are in the .600s, yeah, it's pretty low. But when you realize how fast you can get this 100 grain bullet, it really makes up for the lack of BC. I'm going to show you the absolutely insane ballistics downrange in just a sec with this 101 out of a 257 when it's averaging 38.14 feet per second. Let's go ahead and take a look at the performance that you just saw in the beginning. So this is a 101 grain LRX, and the average velocity out of those three was 38.14 feet per second. Your muzzle energy, just crazy. That's 30-06 type energy. And then these were the three shots that I chronographed: 38.07, 38.19, 38.16, with an extreme spread of 12 and a standard deviation of 5. Not too shabby. Let's look at the insane performance. This is going to be in inches and drop one-sided in at 100. And I will compare it to other popular, really awesome target cartridges in a sec, but at 500 yards, only 27.2 inches of drop, and at 1,000, not too shabby for such a low BC bullet, 197.3 inches of drop. So the question is, that's cool, you can get it going extremely fast, but is it accurate at all? Let's go ahead and check it out. I will be shooting at the right target, top left.
Okay.
It's probably like what, 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds?
Send another. Not bad. You're about an inch.
As you saw, we just got around an inch, maybe a little bit over with that group the other day. I've shot these groups a lot. In fact, this target is the very first group I've ever shot with this load, and it got a 0.8 inch group. On average, I would say this bullet in this load is averaging just under sub MOA, barely. Sometimes I'm over it, like you saw in that video. And then a lot of times I'm just under it, like this. So is it incredible accuracy? No. Is it good for hunting accuracy? Absolutely. And with the blistering velocities of 38.14, it's pretty awesome. If you didn't notice my title of the video, I made quite the claim saying this is possibly the flattest cartridge in the world. So let's find out if it really is. Now, for the record, I'm going to be comparing my hand-loaded, really high velocity 257 Weatherby versus cartridges that with factory ammo. So we'll just put an asterisk for that, just so you know. Now, I think the standard for long distance shooting is the 6.5 Creedmoor, then set up with a 143 grain ELDX at 2,700 feet per second. Energy at the muzzle, 2,315 foot-pounds, so 900 foot-pounds less than a 257 Weatherby. And at 500 yards, wow, almost twice the drop of the 257 Weatherby. And this is the standard, the 6.5 Creed is. Out to 1,000, 325 inches of drop compared to 197. So the 257 Weatherby, at least in drop, absolutely smokes the 6.5 Creedmoor. Next, let's compare the 257 Weatherby to the cartridge that is known for its flat trajectory, the cartridge that is heralded as one of the best long-distance cartridges, at least according to Hornady. We're going to compare it to 7mm PRC. We're going to use a 180 grain ELDM, so we're going to use a match bullet, and a muzzle velocity of 2,975 feet per second. At 500 yards, 40.5 inches of drop compared to 27.2. But this cartridge should do a lot better at 1,000. 232 inches of drop, 232.6 versus 197.3. Wow. So the 257 even beats out the 7 PRC. The next cartridge I want to compare it to is a very flat shooting cartridge. Beats out the 7 PRC. It is the 28 Nosler. We're going to use some hand-loaded velocities. And you could argue the PRC, that's probably what you're going to get hand loading to. But a 180 grain at 3150, this is the 180 grain ELDM. At 500 yards, 35.4 inches of drop compared to 27.2. So the 28 is catching up. It's right there with the 257. And at 1,000, 204.5 inches of drop compared to, again, 197. It's pretty darn close in drop. Last and certainly not least, we're going to compare the 6.5 300 Weatherby to the 257 Weatherby. Now, the 6.5 300 Weatherby is the fastest factory offered cartridge in factory ammo. We're going to go ahead and use it. It's a 130 grain Swift Sirocco at 3,425 feet per second. Your drop at 500 yards, still more than the 257. So it's 31.3 versus 27.2. But finally, at 1,000 yards, we have a cartridge that beats out the 257, barely. 197.1 versus 197.3. So yeah, the 6.5 300 Weatherby technically is a little bit flatter than, well, it's probably basically the same. So my claim as the 257 being one of the flattest, or the flattest cartridge in the world, yeah, I think there's some truth to it. Now, I did say I was going to give you an update on how my 257 Weatherby is shooting the 135 grain burgers with a 1 in 10 twist. So here are the results from this past weekend.
Good one.
Barrel's warm. Should I just send it?
Send it. Yep.
Accuracy isn't quite there yet. I can get 2 really close, and then a third one is usually a flyer. So it's time to move on from 7828. One of the issues I've had is I can't put a ton of powder into 7828 before I hit pressure. I'm hitting pressure around 66 grains, and well, 66 grains, there's still a lot of empty case in this 257. So the next powder I'm going to try is Stay Ball HD. It is a ball powder, which I should be able to put more of the ball powder in and hopefully fill the case a little bit more without hitting pressure so soon, which hopefully will get me more consistency and better groups.